Man, we have some crazy news to cover. The Orioles, they have signed Pete Alonso to a 5-year deal worth $155 million. Jeff Passan tweeted out first saying Alonso and the Baltimore Orioles are finalizing a 5-year deal worth $155 million. Sources tell ESPN Alonso leaves the Mets to make a loaded AL East even better. Rosenthal confirms it as well. Talking Baseball tweeted this tidbit out for y'all. Alonso's contract is the second largest contract given out by the Orioles, only trailing Chris Davis when he got 7 years, $161 million a few years back. And again, that was under different ownership. Here's a video I want to throw up for you all. It's a video about how the Red Sox were knee-deep into the Alonso sweepstakes as well. So here's that video right here.
The Red Sox had real interest in Pete, but they had to wait for Bregman?
I know my understanding is that the Red Sox preferred Bregman, but liked both. They were engaged with Pete, planned to meet with Pete last night. I didn't confirm that actually happened, but it was on the agenda.
I saw them. They were at the Gold Crowd on the street.
There you go. You're on top of it.
I'm just kidding.
He was here yesterday.
He was here yesterday.
Yeah. So they were in on Pete.
Okay.
And I thought it was going to happen, to be honest. You know, people talk about his wife being from Quincy and a match there, Fenway Park, perfect fit, all that stuff. If you're a right-handed hitter, you'd rather be at Fenway than Camden Yards, all things considered. But 5 years and $155 million is going to do a lot of convincing. So
now here's an article from MLB Trade Rumors I wanted to go over with y'all. It says there are no deferrals or opt-outs in the contract. Alonso receives a limited no-trade clause as well. And of course, he is represented by the Boris Corporation. The Orioles offered Kyle Schwarber a similar 5-year, $150 million deal. Once he declined their offer and went back to Philly, Orioles made a substantial push to get Alonso, and in doing so, they gave Alonso a record-setting AAV for a first baseman over that 5-year term. Next, I wanted to get to arguably the biggest news story of the day, and that is the Tarik Skubal trade rumors to the Dodgers that have been circulating throughout the day, and it has been percolating in part due to David Pingalore. He is a sports anchor for KTLA. He says, I'm hearing the Skubal deal is essentially in place. The pieces are agreed to. The framework is done. What's holding it up now is a long-term extension and ownership approval in Detroit. The Tigers won't greenlight it without ownership's signing off on the deal, and the Dodgers won't ship out that kind of haul without a long-term commitment from Skubal. That is the final hurdle. Now, I've seen, the Tigers getting Dodgers number 4 prospect, their number 2, their number 5, and I think even Tyler Glasnow was in as part of a potential deal back to Detroit. I'm not happy about it. I do not think they need to trade him. I think ownership is very wishy-washy in Detroit. I think they act like, they're the Oakland Athletics sometimes, and they're certainly not. For those of you who don't know, the owner of the Detroit Tigers is Chris Ilitch, son of Mike Ilitch, who is the founder and creator of Little Caesars Pizza. And those of you who have not been to Detroit know and understand that the Ilitches, along with the Ford family and others, have been investing a lot of money in the downtown area with the idea of the sports being an epicenter. With that being said, the Tigers are investing in other things. The last couple of years, they've made improvements to Comerica Park. They put a brand new scoreboard up, second largest in baseball compared to the Mets, installed a brand new clubhouse suite with premium seating behind home plate and, a clubhouse access, much like the Dodgers have and others in Major League Baseball now. Not to mention they own a bazillion bars around the city, which is, of course, used by people who go to games. So the irony is that they're investing all this money in outside things that have a direct connection to the franchise, but not when it comes to the talent on the field. And I understand they've been burned in the past by big contracts, but still, this is one you can't let slip away. This is someone who's in the prime of their career in his mid-20s and throws BBs every day. This is the modern-day Randy Johnson. The fact that the Tigers are actively seeking to get rid of him in some way is disturbing as a Tiger fan and someone who bought season tickets. I won't believe it until it happens. Do I think it will happen? In my gut, I say no. But the more I hear, the more I doubt my own gut feeling that this might happen. So that's the news on the Tarik Skubal front. Nothing yet, but had to mention it. And speaking of the Tigers, of course, they signed Kyle Finnegan to a 2-year deal worth $19 million. That is $9.5 million per year. Gregory Soto, former Tiger, he signed with the Pittsburgh Pirates on a 1-year, $7.75 million deal. Mike Yastrzemski, he agreed to a 2-year deal worth $23 million with the Braves. And John Heyman also tweets out that Joey Gallo is drawing interest from several teams when it comes to his pitching ability. Yes. If this is not a Tigers move, I don't know what else is. I could totally see the Tigers doing this because that's the type of crap that they pull off. And I could totally see him signing with the Tigers for some godforsaken reason. Please like, please comment, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And as always, I'll catch you guys later.